Two, one. Hi, I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Looks like we got our. I take a lot of care in this, and then it just gets peculiar on me, and it's just funny. It's funny, almost funny. It's funny to me. Well, I hope you had a Merry Christmas. I have my Badger hat on today because the Wisconsin Bucky Badgers are in the Pinstripe Bowl today at 4:15. You say, what? I've never heard of the Pinstripe Bowl? Neither had I. But that's what they're in. And they're playing Miami, which they played last year. But last year, they were playing at number 5 or so, where they just, they had an undefeated season and then lost to Ohio State in the playoff on the last drive. So they didn't make the top 4 in the playoff, college football playoff. So it was a pretty big game, and they went out fast against Miami and beat the bejesus out of them. So what I've learned in sports is that you want to wear your hat before the game, when you can still wear it with pride that they got to the Pinstripe Bowl, all the way to the Pinstripe Bowl. Somebody asked me, why, when the Badgers only won 7 games this year, are they even in a bowl game? And I said, well, it's because if you invite the Wisconsin Badgers to New York City, you'll get 40,000 crazy people spending a lot of money. It has very little to do with the team, but it has a lot to do with the fans. Okay, you want to invite a team. I mean, if your choice was, the Wisconsin Badgers or, who knows, Tulane or something, and they'd say, who'd want to go up north in the middle of winter? Whereas for the Badgers, New York City, they think of it as probably warmer than Madison. So, there's just a lot of advantages. My guess is that there'll be hordes. Last year in Miami, it was about even Steven between Miami and the Badgers as far as the fans in the stadium. This year, with Miami having to travel to the bleak cold, my guess is it'll be about 3/4 Badger fans. You watch, see if it's red. And when I say watch, I mean it euphemistically. I don't expect you to actually watch the Pinstripe Bowl this afternoon, but I'm going to. And so, in the spirit of that, we're going to go through some news, because I gave you my commercials and I replayed it like 4 days in a row. Finally, YouTube said this is not allowed. We've seen this video before. But what was really funny is I got 12 views on Christmas Eve, and I got views on Christmas Day. I got views every time. So thank you if you were tricked into watching it a second or third time. I watched it many times, and I enjoyed it every time. Okay, so trends explaining the state, 5 charts explaining the state of third-party data. Okay, that's not too bad. Is using third-party risky? Okay, and what marketers say? Okay, nah, 20% are not worried at all. And if 17% are pretty worried. Okay, you should be worried. But I talked to Nigel last week over in the UK, and he said the catalogers are starting to rent names again from him. So he's pretty encouraged about that. And as far as GDPR went, so far so good. The mailers have been told that they have a compelling interest in doing business as they have always done, which is renting names and remailing the customers and not just erasing everybody. Though J.D. Williams erased, from what I've heard from Nigel, erased everybody past a 12-month buyer, which was insane. It was just insane. Somebody gave their compliance officer way too much power. I have a client that has a compliance officer, and I told him, be sure not to listen to them too carefully. Because the compliance officer has a way different risk profile than the average marketer. Think about that. Okay, so third-party data may be losing its glamour, but protecting customer data. Almost a majority of marketers say that it's important, which I think is pretty good. I like the second one. Data analytics rarely lead to business insights. What are the top challenges? Analytics don't give you any insight. But just wait. In the next article, you'll see how AI is going to be the key to business insights. Who comes up with this stuff? Can it always trust data? Yes, and that's why B, because of C, do not have easy access. That's why B, do not have enough direct customer data. Also, B, siloed, cannot get a single view. Yeah. All of these equal data analytics rarely lead to business insights, right? And then 6% said they don't have any business challenges. Here's GDPR, brand marketers in U.S. who expect GDPR to impact audience targeting capabilities. I don't know what they mean, strongly disagree, but that's the biggest thing, and somewhat agree that it's going to impact their targeting capabilities. And that's about it for that article. Okay, so I like this article. This guy was good. I'm going to write Neil and tell him that I reviewed his article. It starts really down here. Rebuilding trust, the rise of messaging, storification of social, closing the ads gap, and cracking the commerce code. All of these are worth thinking about, okay, right now. Okay, I've looked at dozens of predictions for 2019. This is one of the fewest good ones. One of the very few good ones. However, I have a little bit of a bone to pick. I thought this was hilarious. Now, listen to this. Okay, he was talking about concerns with data and why consumers are using Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, WeChat. We do everything on WhatsApp. Okay, it's supposed to be fully encrypted end to end, but I think it's owned by Facebook, so you don't know what they're sucking off of you. But because there's 5 billion monthly active users on those platforms, he says the majority of customers now want to speak with a business directly through messaging. Okay, that's good. If I have a really big complaint, sometimes I go on Twitter because I know they'll have to hear about it, or their Facebook page. Usually I try to communicate it with them privately. But sometimes I threaten. I hate to say this. I threaten to take it public if they don't listen. Okay, but here's the funny part. Therefore, he says, the savviest businesses will set up bots. Now, wait. The majority of customers now want to speak with a business directly through messaging. So you should set up robots. Did you hear that? What kind of a... right. So, I used to call in and talk to a person, but now they don't even show their phone number anywhere. Then I would get on their Facebook page, but maybe nobody would answer. Or Twitter. Well, now I can directly message them. But in order to protect us from the consumer, we're going to put robots up to screen us off from the... That's his suggestion? My goodness, that is funny. Stories. Instagram has this thing called Instagram Stories. Now, the problem I have with Instagram is that I have 2 accounts and both of them got hacked. And it's very difficult to post unless you think you're going to do it from your phone directly. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I like Periscope way better, I have to say. Okay, and I get scantily clad women coming up on my Instagram posts all the time. I have unsubscribed thousands of people that I'm supposedly following, but by getting hacked, I got 7,000 people I'm following, which was crazy because I only followed maybe 5 people. Okay? So, 64% of respondents in Hootsuite's social trends survey said they want to use Instagram stories. That's fine. Okay. Oh, darn it. My very favorite one, this one over here. I didn't get to today. So we'll get to that tomorrow. This one was huge. Well, we'll just continue on tomorrow because I'll need this. But there's two more that are huge in here that I think I can maybe help you with. I'm John Miglosh. Have a happy new